Welcome back, Rage Nation. We are at it again. Got myself Pete here. We are going to talk about if Asami has all of the value. So she is an interesting master. I think she got some models that made her pretty good. Specifically, I think it was the Madness book. I think that's the right one. And yeah, we're just going to see what we think of her. We are having a podcast that comes out in a couple weeks about her. So if you subscribe to the podcast, check that out. When it comes out in a couple weeks, where we have Brody on from the land of New Zealand, and he basically walks us through a lot of the tech for this. So I got excited after talking about it, and I just wanted to check it out. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go through a game that I played just today, and we basically went through a few turns. I had something that came up where I had to address it, but I'll talk about what I think about it and the potential and how the unpack kind of went and some of the different parts of the game. Make sure, though, that before we do that, if you can make sure to, I guess it's this way, there we go. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the video to support the podcast and the YouTube channel. That's the best way to do it. And then if you want to be a direct supporter, you can always check out our patron page at patreon.com/ragequitwire. And any help you can do with that is great. We're trying to expand the podcast, including doing more streaming, doing more Vassal games that Dixon and I do, putting them on here. Also trying to do some shorts and stuff. So I'm trying to expand it so you guys can enjoy the content, and any support you can give in that's great. Just to help out where we can. And yeah, let's get into Asami. So Asami Tanaka, I guess that's how you say her last name. So she's kind of a cool summoner keyword. She got a lot of things that really helps her out. And this gaining grounds also just is really good for her. There was also a list that came out, I think it was in August, where a lot of the Russian players kind of put in some card draw and Minako Ray in there to really kind of make her sing. But some things that really kind of stand out on her are, one, she has Arcane Reservoir on her card. I think she might be the only master that has that in the game. I'm not 100% on that, but it's not common. Usually it's on the totem. She does have Protected Oni, which is fine. It helps out once in a while. Oni Soul, she can take 2 damage at the end of Oni model's activation to take off a flicker. So that helps manage this flicker mechanic. Violation of Reality, really good, because you can basically, if you're within 3 and you're a friendly Oni, you get to place when you charge instead of doing a regular push when you charge. And then finally, yeah, the bottom one is whatever. It's good against Obey Masters. But the big thing about her card is that I find 2 things. One, obviously she's a summoner. She's going to summon. When they come out, they have some flicker on them. She can help mitigate some of that. And a Mother's Love, you can discard a flicker token, and they're going to discard that and also gain a focus. So turn 1, if you summon a Jorgumo and you just go to town with focus and putting flicker out, killing something, that's generally what you want to be doing turn 1. So I really like this kind of general. I don't usually like summoners, but I kind of like what she does. It's a little more aggressive. It's definitely mobile, and the resources are great with some of these other models. So that's kind of a big part with her. And then kind of the other part of this is Lady Yume. Actually, there's a lot of parts to it. But actually, before I go kind of through the main cards, this is the general list. Ignore the Sunless Selves because this was actually in-game with Lance that I'll go through in a minute. But from Sensei U up, this is the list. So that includes Asami Tanaka, Amanjaku, Lady Yume, Minako Ray, Terracotta Warrior, Ban Ying, Sensei Yu, and then, like I said, the other stuff down here is summons. So the big thing with this is you're summoning a lot of models through, obviously, Asami, and then Minako Ray. She can summon the Katashiros, which are those kind of leaping, paper cutty, gonna attack you in scheme kind of summons. They look like that, just in case you haven't seen the card before. So Minako Ray summons those, whereas Asami summons your other models like your Jorgumo, your Obsidian Oni, and those are mainly the 2. But let's talk about Lady Yume. She's kind of a big part of this. She basically, I think what is it? The Warp of the Veil? Yeah, Warp the Veil. Once per activation, when you place within 6 of her, which she's a 50 mil base, so she's pretty big, you get to look at the top 2 cards, and if you don't like them, you can put them into the discard pile. Now, this is big because there's a lot of places in this crew. So you have the jumps from the Katashiro, you have the summoning. When the summons come in, they place. You have charges when you're next to Asami. So if you're next to her and you're an Oni, you charge, you place, triggers Lady Yume. The Ban Ying has a place off of his bonus. If you take the hit with the Terracotta Warriors, that's another place. And there is just a ton of this going on. So especially turn 1, you're getting a bunch of just looking at the cards, pitch them. And then there's a lot of card draw because you're drawing cards with Minako Rei, you're drawing cards with Terracotta Warriors, you're drawing cards with Sensei Yu. That's like Sensei Yu's main purpose for most of the game. You can do damage and stuff as well, but that's kind of what his purpose is in this list. He is basically punching stuff with Hurricane Punch, with the built-in tome trigger to get good for a laugh. So you draw 2 cards, discard 1. That's kind of why he's there with Ban Ying. And he also goes out fast to another monk. And I'll show you kind of Ban Ying real quick. That's why Ban Ying's in the list, because he works really well with Sensei Yu. He gets fast, which is super good. But then he also has mirrored images, where basically you can, instead of when you drop a scheme or you drop a shadow marker, you can go ahead and discard a card to make a sunless self. And the cool thing about the sunless selves is they have no hitboxes, so you can punch them as much as you want. So essentially, Sensei Yu just goes around punching these shadowy sunless self dudes. And you just boom, 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 you automatically draw cards, you're just filtering through your deck. And it works out really well. When you're looking at efficiency and getting the cards that you need. And that's generally how this list works, right? It's a resource engine, ton of models. You can see I was summoning Katashiro here. I ended up getting an Obsidian Oni. Earlier in the game, I had a Jorgumo, but I was a little greedy with it because and honestly, it was the first time I was playing this, so I really didn't focus too much on like getting everything right. I wanted to make sure that I was just kind of getting the mechanics down and figuring out how I want to play it. So just kind of keep that in mind, is like the first time that you're going to play something, a lot of times it's not going to go perfect. And especially with this, I think that there's a lot of things going on that you have to keep track of, and it can be a lot. And I ended up, because when you summon stuff with Asami, they get 2 flicker tokens, and yeah, it made it kind of a problem, right? Because then you have to start removing them. You get one when you activate, so you really have to balance that. And the terrain was awful. So I'm going to show you this game. First off, it was ballots. So I played this game starting off. It was stuff the ballots. The pool was actually pretty good. I felt like I could deny and kind of move this around well. But I don't think there's enough AP to do the strategy well with this crew. You can do it, but I feel like I didn't bully the middle enough starting off. So I'll show you kind of my... show you the deployment. So here I am with the Asami crew. This was after a couple activations. You can see I got the Sunless Selves up here. You can see my deployment, and you can see I got this huge, just look at how huge this aura is with Lady Yume. But yeah, you can see that this height 3 thing kind of stinks. You got this wall here, you got this height 4 building. So this is just really cluttered up. And I didn't get into this position quick enough because I was back here dirtling too much. And I was playing against my good friend Lance, and he basically was able to get his stuff in here. Turn 2, he ended up throwing map at me, and I kind of I had to adjust. And you can see this is beginning of turn 2. You can see I'm kind of cluttered just back here dirtling, didn't get up the board far enough, and Lance has a strong position on the center line. And he basically just throws map in here, boring conversation, and I have to deal with it. So it was interesting to, and I sent my summon up here because I didn't want to be bottled up here. This was probably a bad move, but I was feeling out the crew because then I came over here and I ended up dying because I had too many flicker on the Joragumo. But even though misplaying this, still just got stupid amount of efficiency. I was able to see the jokers. I drew the black joker. I was able to use 13 of mass to get the Joragumo out when I got all those places off of Lady Yume and seeing those cards. And it was just really good. I almost killed Tongguan. I got map out of position with Sensei Yu. So the efficiency is just there, and the attacks are all pretty solid. Like if we go back to some of these models with Asami, so the attacks are all just pretty solid. Like obviously Rosa Teeth, if you have focus and stuff, that's better. Minaku Rei, she's kind of like, I feel like she's just a schemer and just kind of punch little things. I got to figure her out a little bit more when I bring her because I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing with her after I summon the Katashiro turn 1. So I think I need to just go scheme and maybe kill some squishy things to get fast. Charge through is probably pretty good, so put some focus on her, try to get to that 5. Stuff I'm going to try to figure out with her. Terracottas are just solid. Take the hit, draw cards. That's what you want to do. I did make a mistake with them, though, is I should have waited a little bit to activate both of them. I used them as an early activation. I could have done that with one, but I should have kept one back. That way when I saw like the red joker, I could have drew it up with it pretty easy. I just, first time playing the crew, going to have some missteps with it. Ban Ying is super mobile, especially when you give him fast. The fact that he has Ninja Vanish. I didn't get a chance to mess with his attacks too much, and that's kind of the thing. Since we were playing ballots, I'm like, oh, I got to go vote somewhere. And he kind of did that job. I feel like I want him to hit more. So I think next time I play this, it's not going to be into ballots. Ballots, I feel like I should probably play either Monk or I could play McCabe. I think both those crews would be way more efficient at this. So that's what I'm going to try if I continue on this 10 Thunder train. This is kind of a little mini side quest, when you play those games and you just got these little side quests, go pick these apples and give them to the, local innkeeper. That's this kind of thing, I feel like, unless I really get in love with it. But I'm probably still maining Arcanist for a bit as I kind of feel this out. So Ban Ying was good. He can hit like a truck. I just didn't get there because of the strategy. Sensei Yu, I know I was talking to Lance and he thought that you could do something more efficient to draw cards stone-wise. I mean, this is 10 stones you're throwing to draw cards. But I also feel like his attacks are pretty good. I mean, 2, 3, 4 is solid because you can punch your opponent. And then Wind Blast, I actually used this to get Map out of the area. I hit him with a Wind Blast, and then I used the Strong Winds trigger to push him more. So it got the boring conversation out of the way, and it stopped Lance from scoring Sweating Bullets because he wasn't anywhere near the middle to score that with Map. So I like Sensei Yu a lot. Another laugh off. That's why I think this. So Minako has laugh off. He has laugh off, and it's a mobile crew. A lot of pushes. So like we were talking on the podcast, Raid the Vaults is probably pretty strong with this keyword. So I do think that this is something I'm going to consider if I play 10 Thunders, Raid the Vaults. Also, I think Cloak and Dagger, this list is really good with as well. It's the Sunless Elf. Katashiro are just amazing. I know you can't see it too well on here, but I had the Katashiro up here on the left, and then there was another one down here on the bottom right that you can't see. It's off screen. So these things are just amazing. You can kill stuff with Flicker. I was actually probably going to kill the Jade Rabbit, but they also are just great schemers with Blown by the Wind. It's a little mini place, little mini leap, I should say. And they're just good schemers. Just they can go in your opponent's deployment zone. Probably never catch up with them unless you want them to. Or they're just a crazy mobile crew as well. So great models. Oni, I did mess with summoning this one turn, and he did blow up to do 2 damage and 2 burning, which was really good. Almost got Tongguan into the death zone, but I didn't have a heavy hitter left to really kind of punish him and kill him off. That was kind of my fault for mismanaging my Joragumo. But like I said, first game, what are you going to do? Joragumos, real quick, are just beasts. These guys with these glaives are insane. I only got 1 swing off before I blew myself up. But I will say I got the puncture trigger and I used a flicker. So I was like at a quad positive or something. And I just 6 damage, really didn't take any resources. It was just good. So that kind of gives me ideas for setting up kills better the next time I play, for sure. Map was a little bit of a problem because turn 1 I wanted to kill something, but Boring Conversation made it where I didn't have a great target. Plus Tongguan was there, so he would have just taken the hit. Maybe I should have still been aggressive, but like I said, the map really, if you look at turn 1, so I summoned basically it up here. I could have summoned it here, but if you look at where this crew is, you had Tongguan back here for take the hit to place. So if I summoned it, it would have been here. And then at that point, do I charge the samurai and then take the hit here? And then I'm getting beat up with my Joragumo here. I'm not close enough to Asami to, and like I said, I think this is just this unpack sucked. I told Lance, I was like, I feel like my unpack sucked. I wasn't in a good position. The terrain kind of dictated that a bit, and I didn't play it well because it was my first time literally just playing with the guards. So yeah, it was very interesting. I enjoyed it though because I can see the power. Lady Yume looking at all these cards, stack in your hand. The take the hit on the terracottas are good. Sensei Yu drawing cards, giving Banying fast. The chi just makes their attacks a little nutty. And then just summoning and being efficient with these models. It is really solid. I think I probably would have scored only 2. And like I said, I had to bail kind of a little early because of family stuff. But I only would have scored 2 on the strategy. So going back to this. So score-wise, turn 2, I scored my sweating bullets. I was able to just run Minako in there and just kind of, get my point there. I was going to get espionage turn 3 because I had a Katashiro there, but I would have only gotten 2 total for the ballot. So I think I was probably going to end up with 6, but I was doing a good job of denying Lance's schemes. Lance himself had sweating bullets with Map, which I denied. And Map was kind of in a tough position to get back. And then he also had Ensnare, which I used a Katashiro to deny the Ensnared on my, what do you call them? Banying. There we go. So I was really happy with it. This list was solid. I enjoyed it. I think that you can be very competitive with it in the right pools. Obviously, you can switch this up and not play this list. And if I was going to play this list into ballots, I would probably change it up a little bit. I think maybe I change out the Banying Sensei Yu package and put in some other models and drop one of the terracottas to drop some more scheming models that can go and get stuff. Specifically, I want to play around with where are you? The yokai models. These models look really interesting because they scoot around the board really well because they're move 5, but when they gain a flicker, they can place. I don't know how The problem with these models is I don't know how, once I go places, how you keep them alive, right? Maybe I try to kill a small model maybe I'll get to 2, kill a model, got 3 flicker, remove 1 because I killed something. But they are good scheme runners. Same thing with I think the Tengu. Yeah, these are pretty good as well. They have Dark Bargain. They're just squishy models though, so I'll have to play around with how well they would work in ballots and maybe some of the more scheme heavy pools, because they can die, but they are very good. So that's kind of my general thoughts. I just wanted to share. I was pretty excited about it. Like I said, it was clunky. I don't think it was great the way I played it, but I could see the combos. Like I said, the main things are I saw the huge benefit of Lady Yume. I don't think you ever play a game without her. And I don't think you ever play a game without Minaku Rei. She's just really, really good into just summoning these Katashiro, right? Because she just summons 2 of them turn 1, and then they're just scheming the rest of the game. And if one of them dies, then it's like, okay, I'll just use the shadow marker or whatever to go ahead and do it again. I really enjoyed it. It's like 10 Thunders are in a good spot. Sami's in a great spot. And there's a variance to this list too, where you bring Gwyneth instead of Sensei Yu and Ban Ying. So that's an option too, because Gwyneth draws a bunch of cards, and then you bring something like a Toto to put the shadow markers down instead of Ban Ying. So there is some playability there. You don't always have to bring this exact list, but you can get a very similar play style. So yeah, just let me know what you think of this list. It was really fun. And I think if you like the idea of Asami, it's going to take reps. So that's the thing I would say about this list is it's not like put it on the board and win. I think it's going to take some reps the unpack is kind of the main thing of unpacking effectively. And then also, if you can, try to leverage what you can as far as killing a model turn 1 or at least turn 2. I didn't do a good job of that, but Lance also brought a really good list to counter kind of that type of attack. You can see that he had, I'll pull it up real quick. Oops, not that. That's the YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're watching, like, subscribe. So Lance brought some tech that was really good against this. Maybe. If it's going to let me see it. There we go. So the big things are that he brought to, I don't know why it's bugging out in the back, that he brought to tech kind of like this type of dive into his crew and kill something kind of approach. Is he brought map, boring conversation went up early. That's a given. Tongguan has the 6-inch aura of take the hit. Zhang, whatever, has a warning growl. So if he's nearby, that's more negatives. And then he had silent protector, by the way. So he also had take the hit. And then he had some guns, which were nice. Terracottas for take the hit as well. So he just had a lot of good tech on this. And then once again, if you look at how he was set up at the end of this, so he had warning growl set up here for these models, except for the samurai. But he also had take the hit here, set up for all these models. So I was getting take the hit with Tongguan. It's going to be at a negative because of warning growl. And it's armor 1 henchman. Probably not doing a ton. Flicker and focus might be able to get away with it, but probably not. Plus, you got to pass all these boring conversation checks. So anyways, I'm going to end it there. Like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to be a patron, check out the link below. You can support us for very few, or you can support us with, up to $15, $20 a month if you really want. But we have a $3 level as well. But I'm going to do these more often. I'm planning on doing streams probably weekly. And then we're also putting out bat reps, top 10 lists. And I'm going to mess with shorts. I'm going to see if I can find some clips that are good for the shorts as far as just putting something entertaining down. Because everybody likes the quick little, 60-second little funny joke type thing. But anyways, until next time, make sure that you guys are flipping cards